Hey, it's the Fort Worth Playboy.
And my Playboys Bunny.
And welcome to our podcast where we discuss pickup, game, relationships, and
Sex.
And what we're going to talk about today is kind of an uncomfortable subject. It's how to bail on a date. And I'm going to add how to bail on a date with class.
Yeah.
You know,
because they're not all going to be home runs.
No. And you only bail when it's not salvageable.
Yeah.
Or you would almost say that if she's being hostile towards you. You know what I mean?
I think that's an important important note to
I have a
make.
bad feeling some guys just kind of get frustrated and quit in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
And that's not really fair to her. It may not have anything to do with her.
Well, it's kind of like texting, where there's a certain stage where some of them are kind of duds on text. But then, like you have shared, you might say, are you normal? You know, just something to kind of shake it up a little bit and make them kind of realize they're being pretty flat on their side.
Exactly. And even some guys, like if she brings out the phone,
you
know, and they disengage. But it's not really, your job is to like get her to put the phone up, and let her know the error of her ways in that case.
Unless she, I will say, because most of you are dating single moms out there. I mean, I can see it being acceptable for her to pick up the phone, say, I'm sorry, I need to check with my babysitter real quick. And then she puts the phone back down, or she lets you know specifically, so-and-so has a sniffle or whatever it is.
We get it. Absolutely. But especially with the younger guys and the younger girls, the girls who use the phone as leverage or
so strange,
to change the rhythm of the day. That's not the important. What is important is if you are on a date that is going south and going south hard, she's openly hostile to you.
Yeah.
She's belligerent. If there's anything to the negative extent, I walked on one. Well, I wouldn't say, I walked on a few, but one was just like the very first time it happened, it caught me off guard.
Sure.
She was just so hostile and so vicious about her ex-husband, which I shouldn't have let it get away from me anyway.
Right.
I was relatively new but I knew that I don't want to be around this woman any longer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't want to be around her another moment.
No. So when you are in a date and you finally say, okay, I've had enough. You simply call for the check. You don't have to tell her anything.
No.
You don't have to mention it to her. And you simply call for the check while she's talking. You sign the check and you say, hey, good to meet you. Good luck. And you get up and you walk out.
Yeah.
And this tweet, where we kind of explain how to do this, most of the guys that are pretty savvy on Twitter were like, yeah, that's pretty much how you do it. You know what I mean? And
it's a classy way to do it.
Yeah.
You don't need to teach a lesson. It's not. It's going to fall on deaf ears anyway.
And then it leaked over into Facebook where you have more like average frustrated chumps. And the guys were like, I'm not paying for. It was like 90% were like, I don't pay. I'm not going to pay for that. Well, you asked her out.
Yeah.
So you're still under the obligation.
Yeah.
You don't just leave, and most girls don't have any money on them anyway.
No,
and I know that's not your concern, but you asked her out.
Yeah.
And we tend to pay. That's our jobs. And then if you leave her sitting there, there's a classy way and there's a shitty, you're a piece of shit kind of guy way to do it. You know what I mean? And no, you don't have to worry about what she thinks about it, but you have to think about yourself.
Well, and a lot of guys on that Facebook thing were also like, we'll split the check. No.
You don't have no.
It's actually worth that extra $8 to just be able to get up and walk away.
Yeah. And that she's going to text you. She might even call or text and go, hey, it's not your job to explain. None of that is good.
No.
You move on. You delete her number in the parking lot and you don't stop. You get up, you walk, and they'll usually be so shocked.
Yeah.
Because no guy ever does it, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's the real deal. And that's the classy way.
Yeah.
You know, that way you don't burn any bridges. And a lot of this is like online dating.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be a little bit more careful if it's a referral. If it's like a setup from your friends,
Sure.
you have to kind of grind it out. You know, if it's like your mom set you up with a girl that works in her office, you can't walk on her. You know what I mean? So this is situational too.
Yeah.
You know.
But I do think that there are probably times where, like, a wife of a buddy sets you up with someone, and the buddy's like, listen, she's cute, but she's a shit show.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Like, to where you kind of have an inkling.
A warning, yeah.
Yeah.
So don't be shy. I mean, some of these things you have to write out in the name of
Friendship.
diplomacy.
Yeah,
diplomacy. You know, but if it's like an online setup and you don't really know this girl and you are getting caught off guard,
yeah,
then you can bail. You just pay the check. It's good to meet you. Good luck, and you're out of there. And they're going to be like, they're still sitting there in shock that you're gone. You
Tell
know,
your kitchen story.
That's completely different. But that was. We were on the second floor of one of my regular places, and she did come across as like almost venomous.
Oh.
You know, I mean, just literally, just so hateful, and kind of like, not. And this was about anything she was talking about.
Yeah.
And I just kind of like knew, and it was like 10, 12 minutes into it. You know,
oh
it
my
was
gosh.
so fast. I didn't give it. It didn't take a lot of time.
Yeah.
But we had already ordered drinks, if I remember correctly. And I said, hey, I'm going to run to the restroom. I'll be right back. And as I go down the stairs, I don't know if I had already decided, but I knew where the exit was.
Yeah.
And I went out through the kitchen. And the guys were, you know, I mean, because I lived in
They
the building.
knew ya. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, hey, I got to go out the back door because I knew that it kicked me out into the parking lot.
Yeah.
You know? And I was like, no.
Got to get the fuck out of here.
I got to get the hell out of here. I mean, I just felt relieved.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
I mean,
and as you get more practice, you do, there's a phase for sticking it out and going to failure.
Yeah.
So, like in the weight room.
Yeah.
And there's a phase once you kind of get your feet under you.
Yeah.
And you realize
It's time.
where the turning points are.
Yeah, exactly. Or it's not going to be, or it's just somebody you're just not going, you are under no obligation. If you see something going bad,
Yeah.
or a girl that you're just not going to be interested in her.
Yeah.
You're under no obligation to ride it all the way out. This is why we say drinks only.
Yeah. It's easy to cut it off at a drink.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
easy.
I mean, if there's
Maybe
nothing,
20
if
minutes.
there's nothing wrong with the girl other than you don't click, or she shows up and she like doesn't look like her pictures or whatever, but you engaged.
Yeah.
You move forward with it.
Yeah.
You don't have to stay there.
No.
You know what I mean? In fact, it's not a good. It's bad.
It's not
You know?
healthy.
Yeah, and I remember even setting like in a couple. I was like, this thing's just not going to go anywhere. And then I would ride it out for another 30 minutes or an hour. But you get your instincts built over time to just go, okay, this isn't. I'm not going to take this any further. It's not going to get any better. You know, but if it's openly negative, you can bail.
Which I'm sure that guys now are dealing with even more like openly hostile women than even you did.
Yeah.
I
for
mean,
sure.
I can imagine that because they seem to be multiplying like rabbits.
Yeah.
It's very unfortunate.
It is. And there's other factors. I mean, there's different factors.
But I think that this is a great example of a classy way you can exit, because the reality is right now that if you try to teach her a lesson, or if you disrespect, if you show her the disrespect she's showing you, she will screenshot your face.
Yeah,
She'll put it
true.
all over social media. She'll do all kinds of stuff and make you look like a giant asshole when really you're just trying to get away from her hostility.
Right. It's true.
So
it's true.
it's smarter to just exit stage left and go on about your life.
It's hard to find fault with a guy that says, okay, he pays the bill and he exited. I mean, what what is there to criticize?
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
And,
We
and I
just
didn't think
didn't
about
click.
like what Bunny said. That's never even crossed my mind. But she's right. A lot of girls will decide that scorched earth, they're going to ruin your reputation.
It's true. For
And
no reason.
Just with social media, everybody's connected in some manner.
Yeah.
You know, that's a good point. That's a very good point.
Yeah.
But definitely don't do this out of fear. You're in control. You just want to leave with everything tied up.
Well,
you know?
the golden rule of being human is don't burn bridges.
No.
I mean, there's just no reason
No.
for it.
I think that's it.
I think that's it. That's pretty solid, baby. It's pretty solid.
I hope you never have to use this.
Yeah, that's true. We want you to win. Bye.